Hey, don't know how to make your game objects collide? Don't worry, I got you. In this beginner's game dev tutorial, we'll cover rigid bodies, colliders, and physics material. Alright, a couple cleanup items real quick before we get going on rigid bodies. In case you lost a window, any window, your console log, your hierarchy, your scene, game view, it doesn't matter. If you had one of these, you accidentally dragged it out, and then you exited out of that window, you can get it back by navigating up to the top, selecting Window. Under the General section, you have all of these general windows, all these general panels, so we can open up our game view again and place it right next to our scene view. Alright, let's add a rigid body to our boulder. And the reason we're going to add a rigid body is we want our boulder to interact with the Unity physics system. So to do that, make sure you have your boulder selected. In the bottom right, on the inspector, we'll select Add Component and type RIG. There we go, rigid body. Make sure you select 2D as the regular rigid body is for 3D. With that selected, we can now hit play for the first time. When we select play at the top of our screen, it's going to automatically put us into play mode and switch our view to the game view. So if you have scene view open, when we hit play, you'll notice it switches us automatically to our game view. We can watch our boulder slide off the screen. If we go back to scene view, we might have to scroll out a little bit, we can see our boulder falling. Awesome. So now that we have a rigid body on our boulder, let's navigate back over to the scene view. Make sure you're not in play mode. We're going to right click in the hierarchy again, and we're going to add a 2D object. We're going to add a sprite. Let's add a square. We're going to add a platform for our boulder to interact with. So we'll just name this platform. In case you already clicked off, you can just double click on these game objects to rename them, or right click and hit rename. If you're zoomed out like I am, again, to zoom back in, you can use your scroll wheel on your mouse, or you can double click on the object that you created and center yourself. Wow, this is way out there. So I was way out. We're at negative 239. We definitely got to bring that back up into our game area. There we go. Bring it back up to 000 just so we can see it. Now let's zoom back out again, and let's lower this guy down to the bottom. Awesome. Put it right below our rigid body so it has something to collide with. Let's go ahead and change the color of our platform, whatever you like. I'm going to make this one blue. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and hit play and see what happens. In play mode, ran right through it. What did we do wrong? Let's hit stop, navigate back out. You notice there's nothing on our platform for our rigid body to interact with. So if we click platform, the only thing here is a sprite render. So there's nothing in Unity telling it what to interact with. So in order to do that, we don't need to add a rigid body. What we need to add is a collider. So we're going to type COL. We'll get a whole range of different colliders we can add. You can add the one that's most appropriate depending on the object. So since this is a square, we're going to add a box collider 2D. Awesome. Now, if you zoom in, you also see there's a green line that goes around the object. You can see where the collider is. You can even edit it if you want. We're going to leave it alone right now, so we're not going to hit that Edit Collider button. We'll go back to our boulder. And on our boulder, we also want to add a collider. But instead of a box collider, we're going to add a circle collider. Awesome. Now we'll hit play and see what happens. Sweet. Now we have our boulder interacting with the platform. Awesome. The next object we're going to add is physics material. So that way we can get a little different interaction between our boulder and the platform. Right now it just falls down and sits there. It's not very fun. So over in our project folder, we're going to right click. We're going to create a 2D physics material 2D. Go ahead and name this boulder so we know this is physics material that we're going to attach to our boulder. We could add it to the platform, but for this one we're just going to put it on the boulder. That way it always interacts the same no matter which material or which platform it interacts with later on. Alright, so selecting our boulder, we could drag this material over into our Circle Collider 2D, or we can select it by pressing the button in the far right. And there we go. There's boulder. It's the only option. It's the only physics material we've created so far. Hit enter. Now that we have it on there, we can go back to our physics material in the project settings and modify it. So we'll see bounciness here is set to 0. Let's change that to 1. You can play around with this and get different interactions depending on what you put it to. We'll put it to 1 for right now. Let's see what happens. There we go. Awesome. Now we got a bouncing ball. Woo! Hope you're enjoying these tutorials. In the next update, we're going to write a simple script to move our platform and slowly start to build a mini game that you can customize. See you then.